Hello and welcome to Hot Take, the place to come for all the hottest topics. I'm your host, Carson Byrne. Today on Hot Take, we are going to be talking about school grades and why I believe that there needs to be a change in the way students are graded. Letter grades have been the preferred way of grading for most schools in America for decades. Most people still believe that letter grades are the best way of grading. However, some are now starting to question if letter grades are truly the best way to evaluate students. I believe that letter grades should not continue to be used in schools. First, letter grades do not properly communicate how well a student is performing in class. Jessica Leahy, a former teacher, claims, letter grades communicate precious little about the process of learning a given subject. Letter grades are a mix of homework, tests, in-class assignments, and extra credit, so they struggle to separate effort from achievement to properly communicate a clear message of a student's understanding and mastery of a subject. With letter grades, parents are not aware of students' strengths and weaknesses, so they cannot help their children succeed to the best of their ability. Another major issue with letter grades is that they cause many students to value a grade over knowledge. If the goal for these students is to get a good grade, then they will be more inclined to take shortcuts and cut corners because they are only pursuing the grade, rather than the focus being on fully understanding and learning the material. In the future, students will not tend to challenge themselves because they have grown up in school pursuing the easy grade. This could hurt them in their future in college or the workforce. Finally, letter grades are very subjective among teachers and cannot be accurately compared. Jessica Leahy explains, we are asked to assess students precisely and with the appearance of objectivity while using an inherently subjective process. What Leahy means by this is that teachers are expected to grade students fairly and precisely, yet teachers are very different in how they grade. Teachers have differing opinions on what each grade means in terms of performance. For example, one teacher might reward an essay an A grade, while another teacher may reward the same essay a C. This subjectiveness is unfair to students as some are being over-rewarded and some are being under-rewarded for their work. Even just one teacher by themselves can be subjective. For example, a teacher may grade an assignment in a good mood and then later grade that same assignment in a bad mood. It is nearly impossible for letter grades to be completely objective and fair. If letter grades were to be removed from schools, there is another grading system that could replace letter grades. This is standard-based grading, which rates a student's proficiency in individual standards-based skills. A benefit of standard-based grading, which letter grades do not do, is that they specifically communicate how a student is performing in class. Standard-based grading shows how a student is doing in each area of class through showing if a student has mastered each individual learning goal. This system separates effort from achievement to accurately show if a student understands the curriculum. Parents are aware of their child's school progress and can help them to the best of their ability. Unlike letter grades, standard-based grading rewards students for challenging themselves, pursuing mastery of the subject, and gaining knowledge rather than focusing primarily on a good grade. Leahy explains, if mastery of a specific concept or skill is the stated goal for everyone, students are free to be more creative in their thinking. They are encouraged to challenge themselves in pursuit of that mastery, and they maintain a focus on the process of learning rather than the destination of a grade. Finally, standard-based grading is great because it will easily fit into Common Core. While a shift to standards-based grading from the traditional points-based system sounds daunting, now is the perfect time to make the transition. Currently, 45 states have adopted the Common Core State Standards, a ready-made, comprehensive list of standards for math and English, a list of skills that could be used to communicate what a particular student has learned in a given marking period. Common Core is already set up to be the standards found on students' report cards. Some people still believe that letter grades are the best way of grading and that they should stay in schools. Beverly Bird claims letter grades are easy to understand. Virtually every parent and child understands the meaning of letter grades at a glance after all these years. A's are great, and B's mean that your child is doing good, if not exactly great. Anything lower is typically cause for at least some alarm. It is true that letter grades are a good general way of communicating how a student is doing in class, but when all tests, assignments, homework, and extra credit are combined into one letter grade, parents get a very foggy message of their child's performance. A standard-based grading system may be confusing at first, but it clearly describes a student's progress and mastery in the current curriculum, making them direct and easy to understand. Letter grades are flawed and need to be replaced. They do not properly communicate a student's level of achievement, they cause students to value grades over knowledge, and they are very subjective. These flaws can all be fixed by standard-based grading, which details students' progress, rewards students for challenging themselves, and easily fits into Common Core. This is why I believe letter grades need to be replaced by standard-based grading, and I hope I have convinced you of the same. This is Carson Byrne, host of Hot Take, signing off.